The Timberwolves have overall been a little bit better as of late, but tonight's game to me kind of reiterated two things to me about this roster. Number one, they have the talent to be legit competitors in the Western Conference. But number two, I don't think they play well enough to be able to realize that potential. They're just not a cohesive, good enough team as of right now this season. I feel like there are just too many flaws to overcome this year for them to be a serious title contender. Obviously, with half the season left to play, I could be wrong, but I just don't really think I am as of right now in this season. A disappointing, frustrating loss here against the Grizzlies tonight. They get outscored by 6 in the fourth quarter, only scored 10 points in the last 6 minutes of the game. Just overall a very disappointing performance down the stretch tonight from the Timberwolves again, and a game where you just look at and John Morant was 5 of 19. Like, you really can't ask for much better than that in terms of holding the Grizzlies star to a limited performance, and yet it just quite simply didn't matter. I mean, Anthony Edwards 4 of 13, 0 of 5 from 3, had a cold game tonight, and that hurt them a lot. Now, all the other starters are pretty good. DiVincenzo, Gobert, Jaden McDaniels, Julius Randle, Naz Reid was really good off the bench, but they got really good contributions from the majority of their rotation tonight and still were unable to get the job done. That's brutal, man. Like, that has to hurt. This is a game at home that you really want to win against a high-level Western Conference opponent. They were in position to win this game and basically choked down the stretch. And it's a bad loss, and it's a loss that felt very indicative of the types of things that have plagued this Timberwolves team all season. Poor shot selection, questionable decision-making, a lack of elite playmaking ability. I mean, 18 turnovers was not great, including 4 by Julius Randle, 6 by Anthony Davis, the two usual suspects struggling with their ball handling and protecting the basketball again. Not to mention they get out rebounded like crazy. 41 rebounds to 46 for the Grizzlies. Like, you could say whatever you want. It's only a 5 rebound difference, but 14 of those 14 rebounds more, I should say, offensively for the Grizzlies than there was for the Timberwolves tonight. That's a bad sign. This is a team that should be able to rebound the ball at a high level and just quite simply did not do that tonight. And honestly, for this season, has not rebounded the ball nearly as well as you would expect. They're only around 20th in the league, which you would expect a lot better from a team with Gobert and Julius Randle, who's been a 10-plus rebound per game guy in the past as well. You look at the roster and look, is it a perfect roster? No. Mike Conley now coming off the bench. I think that's a welcome change. Dante DiVincenzo is just plain and simple the better player at this point in his career. Absolutely. He has 27 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists tonight. Really good performance. A guy who I think is going to step right into that starting role and play at a very, very, very high level. The problem that I have with the Timberwolves at the end of the day is the simple fact that they just don't close games all that well. Their two stars are ball dominant guys who don't look to pass, don't look to play make. The success they had down the stretch, I felt like it was with Dante DiVincenzo having the ball in his hands. He had a really nice pocket pass into Rudy for an easy layup late in the fourth quarter. Rudy got a couple offensive opportunities off of plays made for him by other teammates, instead of Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle being that ball handler and being willing to be the distributor when that's open. Those two guys just quite simply are not there as playmakers, especially Anthony Edwards, man. He just has not been good enough this season, plain and simple. Like, that's just the truth. And the problem with Ant-Man, at least to this point in his career, and this point especially this season, is that no matter what type of amazing offensive performances he has, and he has had some incredible ones, especially recently scoring the basketball, the playmaking has just not been there at all. I mean, it's been really disappointing. 6 assists to 6 turnovers tonight. He has a high assist game, and it comes at the price of a 1-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. Still, inefficient shooting game makes him not a particularly valuable asset on the offensive end of the court tonight. And I mean, the same can be said for Julius Randle, who I did think was better tonight, but still same turnover problems and overall flaws and ball stopping flaws as well that I think also impact this team negatively in the clutch. Now, when you look at the standings, this is not a bad team. They're the 7th seed. They're only half a game out of the top 6 seed. Like, this is a competitive, good basketball team that on paper has the talent to be a serious contender. Yes, swapping Cat for karl-Anthony Towns, Dante DiVincenzo is not a trade that looks like they won, but still, they have so much talent and maybe not incredible depth, especially if they're not playing guys like Rob Dillingham and Terrence Shannon Jr. They're rookies. But I think taking Mike Conley out of the lineup, first of all, was not a bad idea. The starting lineup. He can play limited bench minutes and just be a veteran guy, and I think that's fair considering that his numbers have been so far down this season. But I just can't see a serious path toward real contention this season for the Timberwolves with what you're looking at this season. Because look, defensively, they're still very good. I mean, they were the best defensive team in the league last year. Now they're only sixth best, but still very, very solid. The problem comes with that offensive rating. They're 21st in the league, bottom 10 offensive rating in basketball really hurts this team. And I think is one of the things really holding them back. And you look at other numbers and I mean, for example, I think the clutch on this Memphis team is really, on this Minnesota team is really terrible. Like they just do not feel like they consistently get good shots and make them in the clutch, unless it is Anthony Edwards jacking up a bad shot and hitting it anyway because of how gifted a scorer he is. For example, you look at the stats, they are the sixth worst clutch time team in the league in terms of field goal percentage. Not a good area to be at all. Now, a lot of teams shoot the three ball poorly in clutch time, no doubt about it. But again, the Timberwolves are bottom 8 in the league in that aspect. As a whole, they're not an efficient team in clutch time. And I feel like the biggest reason for that, in all honesty, is the amount of just stand around Julius Randle or Anthony Edwards ISO ball that is played. Gobert knows he's not getting the ball in the slip because Anthony Edwards does not want to throw that slip to Gobert. And it just stagnates the offense down the stretch. And that's what happened tonight. Significant stagnation of their offense down the stretch gives Memphis an opportunity to come in late and steal one with an and one from Desmond Bane, a couple buckets back to back with Ja to close out the game. Who did have an inefficient night, but had a couple of big buckets down the stretch in his own right. And I mean, look, for all the great about Anthony Edwards, 43% from three, incredibly talented scorer, good defensive player as well. You just cannot, and I've talked about it in multiple Timberwolves videos this year, but you just cannot overlook a 4-to-3 assist to turnover ratio at this point in the year in his career for a guy who, admittedly, this isn't a normal shooting guard. Like if he's just a guy, that's super solid, but he's supposed to be the next Michael Jordan. That's the way people are talking about him after the playoffs last year. He's not that. He's not a high-level playmaker. He's not a consistently elite. I mean, he is a consistently elite scorer, yes, but I think as a consistently elite overall basketball player, number one option, he's just not there yet. And that's okay, because one day I do think he will start to get there and he will continue to grow. But as a team, they don't shoot great. Jaden McDaniels has really struggled with the three ball this season. DiVincenzo has been much better as of late, and I think adding him to the starting lineup certainly helps. Naz Reid, really solid player, has been a very helpful bench asset. Gobert's right at 10 and 10.5. Still very efficient, but can't step out on the three-point line at all, which can clog the paint a bit as well for guys like, for example, Randle and Ant, who like to drive the ball to get downhill to that rim, especially a Julius Randle. But Ant has taken to shooting a lot more threes this year, which is great with the efficiency, but I think it has taken away some of the two-point physicality and aggression that he did have. I mean, you look at the two-point field goal percentage, that is 45.5%. Like that's got to be right around the lowest of his career, if it's not actually the lowest of his career. I mean, I guess no, it really is. It's the lowest of his career, even lower by about 0.3 than his rookie season. So you just look at this team overall, and for me, I get there. People are going to be happy that they've made a bit of a resilient run as of late, and I think that is fair to say if you want to. But to me personally, as a basketball fan, I don't see a path forward to serious contention for this team because their two main guys in Ant and Randle are inconsistent, not great passing, playmaking wings and bigs. And realistically, their role players are good, but all it takes is one injury, one mistake, things of that nature, and the tides can shift very quickly. This is a team that made the conference finals last season and likely, I think, probably won't make it to the first round this season. And I think that is absolutely fascinating to talk about and why that is. But with that being said, that's going to do it for the video. I hope y'all did enjoy. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more NBA content very, very soon. I appreciate y'all. Peace.